Yo, what is poppin', everybody? Welcome to Wholesale Hardknocks, episode number 51. We got myself here, the Mike Gomes. We have my guy, Dow Ellison, coming on here in a couple minutes. He'll be up here. But today, we're going to hammer sales. Me and Daryl are like the sales people. Sales is our stuff. We freaking love sales. That's both of us. We both started out this business in sales. Like sales was the skill that really got us going. So me and Daryl both in the beginning when we both started our businesses, very similar. We're just banging the phones all day. That's it. That's what sales is. Sales is banging the phones and locking up contracts. And both of us were doing the same exact thing at very similar points in our business, at very similar time points and everything. We would take a process, learn it, get a coach, and just hammer it. And every single day, get on the phone with sellers. Daryl, what's good, bro?
What's up, bro?
I was just talking about how me and you both started off our businesses as just crushing sales, and sales was like the thing that we just indulged ourselves with and got us going.
Bro, yes. Like I tell people all the time, even if this isn't just wholesaling, right? Even if you just don't learn wholesaling and real estate, if you learn sales, you will never be broke. You will always be able to make money if you know how to sell. Because that's literally everything in life. Like that's how to make money. You sell something. Everything, any way that you make money in life, when you think about it, something is being sold. So if you learn how to sell, you will never go broke. And like Mike, honestly, I want to be like keep it 100 with people, bro. What we do isn't even real estate. Like wholesaling real estate isn't even real estate. It's just marketing and sales. I just made a post about this the other day. So marketing and sales. Pick one to get good at. Either get really good at marketing, get really good at sales to start off, and you'll be able to eat in this business.
I agree, bro. In the beginning, Daryl, I was learning fix and flip. So I'll go out to this fix and flipper in my area. I'll go to a lot of his projects, and he would show me the game. He would come to some of my appointments and stuff, and he would show me how to analyze a fix and flip. Yep. So I got really, really good at the numbers, and it kind of helps me out. Actually, I'm not going to say kind of. It definitely does help my seller calls out and stuff like that because I really know about property and I understand real estate. But in the beginning, I was just understanding real estate. This is before I launched my business, and I was just getting to understand, hey, what are the numbers? What's ARV? What are the construction numbers? Like all this type of stuff. And I'm getting indulged in that. And then I start my business and I'm like turning my wheels, trying to figure this thing out, thinking because I know everything about fix and flip, that I'm going to be able to, lock up deals. Because in my brain, I was like, bro, I'm just going to go out because I wanted to fix and flip. That's why I got in the business. Everybody sees like the HGTV and I see like, these workshops that I was going to and stuff, they were promoting fix and flip. So I wanted to do a fix and flip, and that's how I wanted to start real estate. And I'm like, all right, I need to find my first deal. So I start marketing to sellers, not knowing that I was just building a wholesale business. So when I went to go find my first deal, I was doing sales, right? Like I was not doing real estate.
Not at all.
So when I started talking to sellers and everything, I wasn't converting and I wasn't getting any deals. And I thought that I just didn't know enough about real estate. So then I started learning more about real estate, bro. And guess what? It didn't do me any good. It wasn't until the light bulb switched off where Ace Morby told me one day, very first day that I'm in his mentorship. This is back when like we first started with Pace. I was like, shout out to Pace Morby. I was in there in the very beginning, and he's like, Mike, bro, you're crushing leads, dog. You have a business. Like, you're generating leads consistently. Something is up. And I'm like, dude, I know. That's why I freaking hired you, dog. And he's like, dude, you just got to go learn how to sell. You got to go learn how to convert. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even understand. I didn't even think that was a thing. I thought I just generated leads and I knew my numbers and I'd be able to lock up deals. And he's like, no, bro, you got to understand how to talk to these sellers. And I just got obsessed with sales, bro. And I did any and everything to get good at sales. And that's what ultimately led me to take off in this business. And it allowed me to not quit, bro, because I was thinking about quitting. So it was the light bulb that went off in my head, Daryl, that this is not like wholesaling is not a real estate game. It's a sales game.
Yep.
So once that light bulb went off in my head that it was sales, I just indulged in sales and I got really, really freaking good at it. And all of a sudden, you know what? I ended up getting deals consistently because it was the conversion that was the problem. It was not me not knowing about real estate or anything. It was all about me just understanding sales. So sales is the key to the kingdom. Okay. But what me and Daryll are going to go over today is we're going to go over two different things. So, we're going to go over one overall thing, and this thing is getting the information from the seller. It's like what information you need and how to get it. Okay. That's the most important thing. I teach this in my sales training. We need a foundation, and this foundation is extracting as much information as possible. If you can extract as much information as possible, you can create an opportunity. You can identify an opportunity. Once you identify that opportunity, even if you don't know how to close and negotiate, you can always dish it off to somebody that you could. So the goal is to really get really, really good in the beginning at understanding how do we identify an opportunity and how do we get enough information out of the seller in order to identify that opportunity. Then we can figure out what to do with it later on. So we're going to go over that as like a blanket kind of topic that we're going to go over, but we're going to go over it in two ways. One, a structure on exactly what you need to do and how to ask these questions and what questions you need to ask right in the beginning to just get the information. And then number two, some skills and tools that you can use in order to ask these questions and get that information. Daryll, I'm not sure if you can see or hear, but the screen is black. You popped in and out. Same deal. Okay. So, like I said, we got to extract as much information as possible. So it starts off in the beginning by just asking an open-ended question. Okay. So after you crush your intro, you want to go right into an open-ended question. Very, very simple. This can be like, hey, give me the rundown of what's going on. I was literally just on an on-site appointment today. And the very first thing I walk up to the seller with, I get out of my car, he gets out of his car, and I look at him. I'm like, David, how you doing, brother? Nice. I'm doing great. Today's a great day. We start, bonding a little bit, do my intro immediately. This is before I even walk in the house. I haven't even walked in the house yet. I'm on the curb, right? And I'm like, bro, so tell me what is going on with this house? Like very broad, very vague. What is going on with this house? He can say anything. He could talk about the condition. He could talk about the like when he bought it. He could talk about anything. What we really want him to talk about. Actually, I want to you guys in the comments. What do you think when we ask that open-ended question in the beginning? What do you think we're trying to do? What information is the most important out of the call? What do we need? Somebody put in the chat. I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds, and then I will give you guys a hint. There we go. Fabian, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Fabian's my guy. This guy is a killer. This guy is, I was just going to say is going to be a killer closer, but he is, and he's going to be like a freaking master. Okay. For sure, brother. So Chris, right? What we're trying to do in the beginning. So we go through our intro, right? So that guy that I went on an on-site appointment with today, I met him, I got out of my car, he got out of his car, and I was like, hey brother, how you doing? Like just chopping it up in the beginning for about maybe 25 seconds, right? He sees that I'm a nice, likable guy, I got charisma and everything. He's like, oh, this guy's cool. immediately, my first open-ended question that I ask him before I even walk in the property is, hey, give me the rundown of what's going on with the situation here. It's very broad, it's very vague. It could mean anything, right? I could be asking about the condition, I could be asking about, what he wants for it. I could be asking for his motivation, right? Like any of that. The goal, as Fabian said, is to get him to tell us the motivation, right? That's the main goal. We just want to figure out what the motivation is. But here's what happens. Sometimes you ask that open-ended question and they start talking about the repairs of the property and all that type of stuff. But we're trying to get the motivation. Okay. That's the most important part of the call, is to get the motivation. So you start after your intro, you start with an open-ended question. This could be, hey, catch me up to speed. What's going on with the property? Okay. Now, once you have got him to give you some sort of like, this is what I call the surface level motivation, right? So he starts opening up. This guy, David, today, he was like, yeah, so I got this house passed down to me by my parents. My parents passed me down this house. I have some siblings on the deal as well. They're looking to, I got appointed the executor of the estate. It was a probate deal, right? It was a probate deal. And he's like, I was named the executor. I just got to figure out, what I can get for this property and da, 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 da. So he gave me a very surface level type of motivation, but I got to figure out more, right? I'm not just going to leave it at that. I don't just say, okay, cool. Well, how much are you looking to get for the property, right? I don't just roll into the next question. I get him to elaborate on what he just gave me. So he just gave me some really good information. Daryll, what I'm talking about is I'm talking an on-site appointment that I was on earlier today. You're on mute, bro. So he gives me this surface level motivation, which isn't like super in depth. He's not going into like what the probate process looks like. He's not going into anything. He just gives me something very surface level. He just said, hey, I got this house passed down. Me and my siblings are making decisions together and da, 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 da. So I picked the most important part of what he gave me. He's talking about, this is a probate deal, right? He's saying that, hey, there's other people involved in this thing. And he started touching on, it's kind of tough dealing with them. This is what he said. He said, it's tough dealing with real estate and family. So I know that. That's what he said in the surface level information. He said, I have this property here that I got passed down. I have siblings that are on the property with me. I was named the executive of the estate, and it's been kind of hard dealing with family. Okay. That's what he gave me. That's very surface level. I got to dig into that. Like I said, I don't go right into price or whatever. I got to figure out what he means by that. Oh my gosh. So here's what I do. This is how you go about it. Once you get the surface level motivation, you validate what they just said. Damn, I understand you. This is what I said. My grandmother right now, she's selling her house, and the family's like, they kind of have a bunch of different opinions about the deal. And I was like, I get it. Family can be so hard to deal with when it comes to real estate. It's crazy. My grandmother's actually selling her house right now. And like, this family member has this idea and that family member has this idea, and everybody has a different opinion. And it's kind of hard to work with everybody. So I completely understand you. What did I do there? I just bonded with him. I validated what he said. I show that I'm listening to him, make him feel good. And then immediately I follow up with another open-ended question about what he just gave me, the most important part of what he just gave me. So I listen to him, and I figure out, okay, the most important part that he just gave me is that he has this property with his siblings. He's named the executor. But the most important part is he's been having trouble with his family. So I get him to dig in on that. So I'm like, yeah, it can be hard dealing with family. Tell me, help me understand, like, what's going on with you and your siblings, right? And then he digs into the motivation even more. So we get to dig in on the motivation and the situation of exactly what is going on with the property. And that's how we get Daryl, I can't see you, bro. You still got the black screen. And that's how you start getting as much information as possible. So here's the thing. I talk to my team, right? And whenever they bring me a lead, here's like every single day we have like an hour call at the end of the day, and we go over leads. And my team brings me these opportunities that they found for the whole entire day, right? So they bring me these opportunities, and immediately my first thing is Daryl's over here having some trouble with this thing, but it's all good. Okay. So when they bring me a lead to like underwrite or to help them get over the hump or to give them some advice on, my very first thing is, hey, I mean, why is the person selling? Like, what's got them interested in selling? And if they just give me some very vague information, like, it's a probate deal, they got passed down the property, and he's having some problem with the siblings. If that's all my acquisitions people give me for the motivation, then I'm like, dude, you didn't get enough information. I should be sitting here like this, looking at my watch, tapping my shoe, like, bro, I get it. The sibling has this, and they want that, and they want this, that, and the other, and they got this going on, and they got that. I should literally be sitting here like, bro, I get it. If that's the case, then that means that my acquisitions people did a good job of getting as much information as possible. Okay. So what we do after the intro, just to break it down again, we go from intro to very open-ended question, like, hey, tell me what's going on with the property. After we have the open-ended question, they're going to give us some surface level motivation, and then you get them to elaborate on whatever they gave us. So it's validate what they just said, follow up with another open-ended question with what they just gave us to keep getting more information. Okay. And some people are probably like, Mike, dude, it's not that easy. Like, people don't just give you the motivation right away. Okay, so here's the structure that I'm going to give you guys in order to get the information. You understand what to do once they start giving you motivation. You guys got that now. They give you the motivation, you understand how to extract more, right? You guys have that. But what happens when they just give you a one-word answer? I don't know. What do you want to know? Or da 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 da. Okay. Yeah, Daryl's all set. He'll be in here in a little bit, hopefully. If not, we're gonna rock and roll in the comments. We're gonna get this thing cranking. Okay. So if they do not give you any information, what you want to do, like, or they give you some short information. Let's just say they give you a one-word answer. I don't know. Like, what do you want to know? Or they start giving you the condition, and you got to steer it back right to the motivation. Here's what you do. The first question that you ask is the occupancy question. Okay, so I need you guys to write this down. You guys should have wrote the other stuff down, by the way. Open-ended question, validate what they just said, another open-ended question. That's how you get more information. Okay, now I'm talking about if they're being tough, if they're not giving you the motivation. You ask the occupancy question. Let's just say you say, hey, give me the rundown on the property. And they say, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. I mean, what else do you want to know? And they're being tough. You go into occupancy. Well, tell me, is this your personal house or one of your rentals? Okay. And you get them to tell you, this is my personal house or whatever. You're typically going to get a one-word answer for this. And that's okay. Usually when we're asking questions, we want to get them to talk more than just a one-word answer. But for this, it's okay. They can say something just like a one-word answer, because here's what's going to happen. We're going to get them to elaborate on what's going on with that one-word answer. So let's just say it's their personal house. And you ask them, hey, yeah, so tell me, is this your personal house or is this one of your rental properties? And they say, oh, it's my personal house. Okay, great. How has the move-in process been? Got it. So this is your personal house. You currently live here. Tell me, how has the move-in process been so far? Or what has the move-in process looked like so far? Why do you do this? It's because you're trying to get them to talk. You're trying to get them to talk about some sort of motivation, right? Usually the motivation is tied into the occupancy. And what you can do is now they're forced to give you more than just a one-word answer, you now have an opportunity to do what we did before and validate what they just said and follow up with another open-ended question. Okay. So in this, if it's their personal house and you ask that question, oh, I haven't really been looking too much because I just don't know if we're ready to sell just yet. Okay, so you really haven't been looking to sell your property just yet, um, and you haven't been looking just yet. Tell me, like, what's got you kind of stuck, not wanting to make the move yet? See, most important information he gave you is he's not ready to make the move yet. So I got to figure out why, right? Notice I validated what he just said and I followed up with an open ended question on the most important information he gave me. Are you guys getting me here? Like we're starting to see a trend. You validate what they just said, follow up with an open ended question on the most important information that they gave you. I'm going to repeat this like over and over and over again because it's the easiest thing in the world once you start getting it. Okay. So occupancy, then you get them to elaborate on everything. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Like once you get, even if they're like super direct and they're giving you one word answers, once you get them to open up a little bit, you open a can of worms and you can start getting them to open up about more. And that's the goal. The goal is to just get them to start talking so you can get them to elaborate on more and talk more. So in this phase, while you're getting information, you want to be talking, write this down. You want to be talking 30% of the time and have them talking 70% of the time. Okay, so you're talking 30, they're talking 70. Okay. Now, once you have figured out, okay, this guy's still not giving me any information. He's being super short. He's like, yeah, it's my personal house. Nope, nah, da 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 da. Right. And it kind of sounds like he's not too interested in selling. Here's the last thing that you finally say. Okay. So once you exhausted all these things and you're trying your best, right? Don't just resort to this because this is like a final resort. So this is after you've asked the occupancy question, you got him to try to follow up on what he's talking about, and he's just not giving you any information. He's being super tough. You go in and you just say, well, dude, it sounds like you got a good property on your hands, right? This is a rental for you. It's cash flowing, it's doing well for you. Tell me, what's got you interested in selling? So here's where people screw up. Most people ask, oh, tell me what's got you interested in selling, or why are you selling? Like directly, like super personal, right in the beginning. Like they do this in the first question. All right, cool. Well, tell me why are you selling the property? And dude's like, bro, I've just been talking to you for 25 seconds. But now that you have exhausted it, you maybe bonded with them, you said a joke, you've built some credibility. Maybe you threw in a third party story in there at some point, talking about how you do deals or whatever. Now you're finally able to ask that. Well, tell me what's got you interested in selling. And then once you say what's got you interested in selling, you let them know, dude, you're in a good situation. Why would you ever sell this property? You get them to tell you, I don't know. You call me. At this point, once you're figuring out that there's like no motivation, it's time to get off the freaking phone. Hopefully, what happens here is you start digging into the actual motivation. Well, Mike, I have these tenants that they haven't been paying for a while and the property's facing foreclosure and everything like that. Right. Hopefully they start getting into that. But if they don't, it is what it is. They're just not too motivated. And we need to be talking to motivated sellers. Okay. So those are the 3 steps. Open-ended question. And you try to do the same thing, validate with an open-ended question to get more information. But let's just say that doesn't work in the beginning. Then you go to occupancy, right? Once you go to occupancy and that's not really working, your last resort is, dang, I mean, it sounds like you're in a good situation. Tell me what's got you interested in selling. Okay. So everybody got that? And that's how you get the story. You get I love this. Chris says, they are the patient and we are the doctor, asking questions to probe and explore. That's literally all it is. That's what I tell my team. I'm like, pretend that you are a therapist or something, right? A therapist, it takes a little bit usually for a therapist to get into somebody. Maybe somebody has some serious mental health issues or something like that, and it's personal. They don't want to talk about it, and they're just meeting a therapist for the first time. Like, dude, it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take some nurturing. It's going to take some questioning and stuff like that to get the actual pain that the patient is in. We got to act the same exact way. So could you imagine somebody walking into a therapy office going through some things, right? And it's personal. And the therapist says right away, hey, why are you all messed up in the head? They'd be like, what? They'd be like, damn, what? Or like, tell me why? Why are you so sad? Like, damn, bro, why don't you date me a little bit? You see what I'm saying? We gotta break down. We gotta break down the walls to get them to start talking. It's the same thing. So, Chris, I love that. We're literally like a doctor or a therapist. I say that all the time. That's all it is. This is what we call consulting type of sales, right? There's two type of sales in my mind. There's consulting, and this is the sales that I love. The reason why I love it is because it doesn't make me feel like I'm being pushy, because I'm not. It makes me feel like I'm actually out here like trying to really solve people's problems, because I am. That's why I'm in the business. I'm not here to just like force something down somebody's throat and make money. I'm not like a shark. I'm like truly here to help people. So that's why I like the consulting type of sales. The second type of sales is the features and benefits. And here, I'm going to say something that you guys might be, well, let me break down features and benefits. Features and benefits is like the car salesman, right? That brings you in and they're like, this car is great. This car, you get all the gas mileage on it. You get the best payment. I'm going to hook you up and this, that, and the other. You got the perfect freaking seatbelt and talking about, you see what I'm saying? He's selling all the features and benefits and like forcing it down your throat. Okay. That's what features and benefits is. And I'm going to tell you something that you might be like, Mike, what? Why would you think this? I actually think that this type of sales works. Not even think, I know that it works. Like, you can get good at this type of sales and really crush it, and maybe even do better than some of the people that are in consulting type of sales. If you get really good at this, you can really crush it and do a lot of deals. The problem is, for me, it's just not fulfilling. And two, I don't like just forcing something down somebody's throat. I would much rather walk their hands to the sale and then at the end of it, give them the solution on a silver platter. That's what it's all about in my mind, because once they see that silver platter, they see the solution to their problem. They're like, oh my God, Mike literally just solved my problem. This is great. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what's fulfilling, right? We want to feel fulfilled. We're not here to just like force stuff down people's throat and make money. It's just like not fulfilling. Chris said it best, but we don't want to be a salesperson. We want to feel more welcoming and as we are helping them. Exactly. That's what we're here to do. We're here to solve problems and help people. That's it. And if you have that in your mind and in your heart, this consulting type of sales is going to be super, super easy for you. But I'll tell you, there are people, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. It's just not for me. There are people that are like, Mike, I don't really care about helping people. I just want to go provide for my family and crush deals and make money. I don't really care. If that's the case, then cool. You can go do the features and benefits type of sales and you can get really good at it and go crush it. Cool, go do that. It's just not for me. Right? I would much rather just help people and be more of a consultant. Okay. So now that you guys have an understanding of exactly what it looks like for like the questioning and the series of questions that you want to ask, now there's some things that you're going to want. I'm going to give you guys 3 different skills that you're going to want to know in order to get through these questions. Okay. The first skill I already touched on is validating. This is actually a skill, because validating is not just saying exactly what the person said back. You actually have to build a skill set. Okay. And the skill set behind it is storytelling. Storytelling, I could have a whole entire podcast about storytelling. Storytelling is like the holy grail of sales. If you get good at storytelling, you could sell anything. Okay. But when we validate, we want to pretty much tell them a story about what they just told us. We don't want to just say it directly back to them exactly what they said. Hip hop, yes. Chris said hip hop. Literally, hip hop is storytelling. That's exactly what hip hop is. I love it. But validating is more like telling a story. We got some information, right? And I'm going to tell it to them back in my own words. Why? Because that makes them feel good. That makes them feel like they're being listened to. That makes sure that we're both on the same page. It actually helps me actively listen, right? So when I know that I have to validate something, I'm actually really listening to the most important part. And that's what helps me follow up with an open-ended question later. So you want to get really good at validating. You want to get really good at just fully understanding where the seller is coming from and being able to articulate back to them exactly what that looks like. Okay. The second thing is kind of similar to validating, but it's called mirroring. Okay. Now, mirroring is what it is. Mirroring is like literally like you look in the mirror. Say this is the mirror. I see Mike right here. That's Mike, the exact same thing. Like I see Mike's face. Okay. I see a reflection of myself. So it's reflecting what they just said. So if they say something like, yeah, it's just been tough on me, I would literally say, and this is going to be contradictory to what I just said about validating, but I would literally just say to them back, it's been tough on you. What this does is it gets them to elaborate. It tackles two birds with one stone. It tackles the open-ended question and it tackles the validating. So you are going to repeat back what they just said, but here's what I want to let you guys know. When you mirror, you do not want to mirror right in the beginning. You validate in the beginning because that's what helps you bond with somebody. That's what helps create the relationship of you and the seller. So you don't want to just start mirroring right out the gate. If you start mirroring right out the gate, the guy's going to think that you're a jackass, right? The guy's going to be like, damn, this guy is not listening. He does not really care, right? And they're going to catch on to it. So you want to mirror like throughout maybe 5 minutes of the call or something like that. And just plant it in there. Just use it. Just start planting seeds with the mirroring. So mirroring is literally like somebody just said, yeah, it's just the property's been tough on me. Been tough on you. Or I love using this when somebody gives me the price. Okay, so how much are you looking for? 400. 400. And then they start to elaborate. They're like, wait, yeah, 400, I want 400 because this, that, and the other. Okay. The third thing is simply just being silent. So a lot of people will feel super awkward when there's a dead silence. Like how many times have you guys been on an appointment or been on a seller call or something like that, and the seller's not saying anything, and you're like, I gotta say something. Just be calm, cool, and collective. I was literally on a seller call yesterday, and I was like, hey, so, what were you guys thinking about the price that we had talked about? And he's like, you said 290, right? I'm like, yeah, that's where we were at. And then I just shut up. I didn't say nothing after that. And we literally sat in silence for probably like 30 seconds. Then he was like, well, I talked to the wife about it. And, I think we're going to be able to move forward. Literally after 30 seconds. But here's what happens. A lot of the times when we're not silent, people will feel super awkward in that silent phase. But if you end up talking in that silent phase, I might say, well, people get nervous and they're like, whoa, what? I mean, what are you guys' thoughts? And you start sounding like you're desperate for the deal. We never want to be desperate for the deal, right? So you start sounding super desperate for the deal, and you're like, oh man, I could potentially come up or something like that. And then you start negotiating yourself. So you don't want to do that. Just let them give you the information always. Okay. Just simply shut up and let them talk. Remember, in the beginning, in the rapport phase, we are listening 30% of listening 70% of the time, talking 30. Okay. So silence is the absolute killer. Cool. So what we're going to do, this is a very brief wholesale hard knocks. Drop some comments or questions if you guys have any in the chat. But before we wrap things up here, me and Daryll have something special for y'all. So here there's two things, right? We just went over like how to get the motivation out of somebody and how to get the information that you need. There's still more information that you need. You need to understand how to get the price out of somebody. You need to understand how to get the decision makers out of somebody and all that type of stuff. Okay. So there's more things to get, not just the motivation. The motivation is the most important thing. This is the foundation that you need to build. But under that, there's still a couple different things. There's the price, there's their timeline, there's the decision makers, there's all that other stuff. After that, so we break it down into like 3 separate compartments, right? There's this compartment where you get in all the motivation. Then you get all the things that you're going to use for negotiation, like price and all that type of stuff. And then you're in the negotiation phase. So there's 3 different phases, really. Okay. I break them down into 3 different phases. In my business, I have an 8-step sales process. Okay. Step 1 through 2 is in the first phase. Step 2 through 5 is in the third phase. Step 6 through 8 is in the third phase. No, did I say that right? Step 1 through 2 is in the first phase. Step 2 through 5 is in the second phase. Step 5 through, step 6 through 8 is in the last phase, and that's negotiate. Okay, so we break them down like that. Okay, so we just went over the first phase, how we get all the information, what information that we need in this first phase, what we're going to go over, and this the special thing that me and Daryll were dropping today. We're hosting a free Zoom for next week's Wholesale Hard Knocks. So instead of coming on to Wholesale Hard Knocks on YouTube, we're literally going to be connecting with you guys live on a Zoom. Okay, and we're going to go over the last 2 steps. Okay, the last 2 phases, I should say. The information that you're going to use to negotiate, and then how to actually negotiate the deal. So we just got all the information. This is the most important. Remember, if you have this information, if you know how to get the information out of people, then all you can simply do is take that information and go give it to somebody that knows how to do the second and third phase, how to like negotiate with somebody. That's where you make your real money. But you can still make money if you could just find an opportunity, right? If you can find an opportunity, you could just make a referral fee or a JV fee or whatever the case is. But with step number 2 and 3, that's where you become the killer closer. That's where you're like, you're going to be able to make money no matter what industry you're in, no matter what market you're in. Like, you're freaking killing it. Okay. Chris, thank you for putting that in there, bro. Those are the 3 things that we got. 3 skills to get you through what I call the intro and the rapport steps in the 8-step sales process. Okay. So here's what I need you guys to do. If you guys want to get on that Zoom, I need you to send either myself at the Mike Gomes on Instagram, either send me a DM or send Daryll. Daryll is at Daryll Ellison on Instagram. I need you guys to send us a DM simply with the word Zoom. So if you send us a DM, the word Zoom, we're going to get you guys the registration link to that free Zoom that's coming up next Wednesday. So same time as today. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern time next Wednesday. We're hosting the Zoom to go over the last 2 steps, the last 2 phases, I mean. How to freaking negotiate. This is where you make your money. I need to see you guys in that Zoom. Okay. So again, next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Instead of coming on YouTube to Wholesale Hard Knocks, we're going on Zoom with y'all and we're connecting live. Like, you guys are going to be able to ask us questions. We're going to be breaking down how to negotiate. We might be talking to sellers live. It's going to be freaking fire in there. So I need you guys to shoot me a DM at the Mike Gomes on Instagram or shoot Daryll a DM on Instagram with the word Zoom, and we're going to get you guys the link here in the next day. Okay. Let's go over some questions. Anybody got any questions? Love it, love it, love it. Appreciate y'all watching another episode of Wholesale Hardknocks. We will see y'all on the Zoom next week. I want to see everybody that's watching this right now on the Zoom next week. Again, DM me at the Mike Gomes, the word Zoom, or DM Daryll on Instagram, the word Zoom, and we will get you guys that link. Fabian asked a good question. How do you keep improvement? I would say there's 5 different things that you could do to get better at sales. Okay. The first thing is practice. You practice through role plays. Okay. So every single morning in my sales training community, we hop on a role play. So the students get in there, they role play. I give them some feedback and all that type of stuff. It's great. So you want to practice. You want to practice the thing. Just like Tom Brady practiced football every single freaking day. That's why he was the GOAT, is the GOAT. You got to practice sales to get better, okay? The second thing is actually doing the thing. You need to be going out talking to sellers. You need to be marketing and negotiating, doing all the things, okay? The third thing is you need somebody to teach you a process. You need somebody to teach you how to get through the process, the skills to get you through the process. Like you need somebody to teach you exactly what to do and how to talk to these sellers. The fourth thing is that you need, this is what I call the monkey see, monkey do type of thing. This is where you need to see somebody actually doing the thing live. Like you need to listen to live calls. You need to learn their process and hear exactly how they're doing the thing. It's actually the best way that I learn. I'm like the biggest monkey see, monkey do guy. I hear somebody do it, I see them do it, and then I immediately go implement what I just learned from them doing it live. I'm not really the module type of guy. Modules are great, they're cool, but I actually learn very well when I'm just like seeing somebody do it and I'm like, dang, they just did that. I know exactly what they just did. Now I got to go take that sauce and go do it myself. So the fourth thing is listening to people live. The last thing is sales books, right? I have a handful of sales books that I've read that are like the top sales books that you can read. Again, shoot me a DM at the Mike Gomes if you have any questions on the different sales books that I recommend. But indulge yourself in sales books. Okay. So if we go over it again, practice, do the thing, find somebody to teach you, listen to that person actually doing the thing. Okay. And analyze it. And the fourth thing is listen to sales books. Yeah, Chris, shoot me a DM, bro. Let's go. The dog pound be rocking. If y'all are not in Daryll's dog pound, I need you guys to go in the comments below, actually in the description below, and you get that link. Daryll has a Discord where everybody hangs out and does all the things. It's great. Chris, you are the freaking man. All right. Love you guys. I will see you guys on the Zoom next week, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday. Let's go.